section golf, I've been aware for many, many years that there was potential slack through many of our joints in the body. They're basically, well, not all of them, I'm sure, but I'm not a physiologist, so I have not gone through an extensive study of the body. But I'm well aware as a golf instructor that slack in the joints creates all kinds of involuntary reactions in the golf swing. The yips are an issue that have plagued golfers for years and years, and some of the very finest players in the game have had their careers ended prematurely by fighting with the yips. There's a great deal of difference between a golf swing that has a full backswing where you go all the way back with the arms. There is time for the body to move back into the front leg, go off vertical, and move the core into rotation and take up the slack in the joints between the core and the club itself. In a putt, however, people do not typically move their core in their putting stroke, which goes totally against the natural movement of the body. Anytime we move from place to place, we typically move core first. We allow some relaxation in the lower body to take our core out of vertical. As soon as we go out of vertical, gravity starts aiding the movement of the core, and our rotation becomes a reaction to the movement of the core out of vertical. What people do when they try to putt is they will try to stand absolutely still, not free the core into rotation, and they try to start the delivery in the downswing with the arms and shoulders, which is not typically the way we move. I believe that in and of itself is totally in conflict with the way we typically move. Now, slack in the spine is a totally different issue, and this is a leak that, as an instructor, I was hunting for almost 40 years before I finally discovered it, and I was aware that there was potential slack in the elbows and in the knees and in the shoulder joints or free-floating wing joints. I was aware of slack in those joints for the longest time, but I was never aware that in a typical standing position, just the weight of our head would compress the spine like an accordion, and that there would be potential slack just like there is in a train. In a 100-car train, there is more than 50 feet of slack between the engine and the caboose when the cars are all compressed. So this is to enable the engine to start developing momentum and not have to pull the whole train from a static position. It picks up the weight of one car at a time as it takes out about 6 inches of slack between the coupler and the gears. There's about 6 inches of slack between in each car. So the engine gets moving, picks up the weight of the first car, takes out the slack as it gains more momentum, and picks up each successive car. When we make a full swing, we have time for the core rotation to take the slack out of all the joints and smoothly engage the club head in the downswing. In a putting stroke, the backswing can be as short as 3 or 4 inches. And when we take the club back and start forward, we do not have the opportunity to get the slack out from between the core and the club head. If we're trying to make a soft stroke and we throw the club back and try to let it fall, the brain senses that there is no mover to accelerate the club because there is too much slack in between the core and the golf club, and the brain will involuntarily create a tension increase in the delivery in an effort to cover up the slack spot. It's extremely subtle, but there is not only linear slack in the spine, there is also potential rotary slack, and both of those need to be removed in order for the core to be the primary mover of both the arms and the club coming through. So it's a fascinating study in the physiology of the body, but something that will immediately cure your yip sensation if you have been fighting with that, both in your putter and in your chip shots and pitch shots as well.